Wrestle Kingdom 13 discussions continue as we move forward with the what many people were considering a tie between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kenny Omega's match with Tetsuya Naito and Chris Jericho. And basically the story is basically turned into a revenge story because following New Year Dash last year, Chris Jericho had attacked Tetsuya Naito and challenged him for the IC title when he won it a few months later after he attacked him again and subsequently won it, and a lot of people were shocked about that. Now, like, he's a 10-time Intercontinental Champion, so I say that's a record. 9 times in WWE and 1 time in New Japan. He has transcended the Intercontinental Championship. So, as we continue this feud, he would go on to fight Evil. I'll talk about that match at a later date. But yeah, he goes on to fight Evil and retain, and subsequently continues his feud with Tetsuya Naito, since Evil is also part of Ungovernables, and as they're called in English. But yeah, so this leads to a match between Tetsuya Naito and Chris Jericho in a no disqualifications match for the IC Championship, and I was looking forward to this match. Like, Chris Jericho has really reinvented himself during his New Japan stint, and it's like, it's Jericho. He's just so freaking awesome. And the fact that he still goes at such a high level at his age after being here for 20 years in wrestling, for over 20 years in wrestling, and he's still going strong, and with the rumors of him finding a new promotion with the Elite, that should say something. Clearly, it seems like Jericho's not done yet. But moving on, Chris Jericho and Tetsuya Naito would ultimately get their match at Wrestle Kingdom 13, and oh my god, they just tore the house down. Like, I haven't seen Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kenny Omega. I'm sure that match might be better, but in terms of brutality, hardcore wrestling, along with the strong style of Japan, it's like, you have to know this is going to be making waves. Like, Jericho's doing this high-level stuff. He's being this intense character, and then you have all this stuff going on with Jericho and Tetsuya Naito. Like, there were brutal spots, like the pile driver on the stage, and I was like, man, I know why WWE banned it, but part of me just misses it. Like, unless it's very, very safely done, then I'll be all for it. Unless it's the apron one that Pentagon Jr. did to Kenny Omega, then I will just say that's just a dangerous move. But I do kind of miss the pile drivers. I understand why WWE got rid of it, because it only kept it for Undertaker and Kane, because they were pretty much the safest guys that could do it. But, like, I do kind of miss it. So, yeah, Naito and Jericho go to war with each other, tear the house down, and they start bringing a lot of weapons in the ring, mostly steel chairs and kendo sticks. And they start wailing at each other, add in the strong wrestling style of Japan and the hardcore wrestling style of America. It's like, oh, this is going to be brutal. And I just love Jericho going ahead and grabbing the camera and just flipping the bird. It's like, oh god, Jericho, what's it going to take for you to not be entertaining for once? Like, you're just so entertaining. And I do question the makeup he has, where he goes ahead and, like, has it all over his face. I just keep thinking, like, is he trying to be like a Clockwork Orange? Like, I kept wondering that, like, was he trying to imitate a Clockwork Orange? But, like, I don't care, so long as it's a phenomenal matchup, and he has a great character. And I did love his entrances with the spikes and whatnot. But this was probably, I'm not sure about how many IC title matches have gotten this big traction, but the fact that Jericho once again gets the chance to steal a show with for a major title, for basically the third prestigious title in the company at the time, and now it's the second most prestigious, because let's be real, the US title kind of lost some relevancy when Kenny Omega lost it, and when Jay White lost it to Juice Robinson. Like, they were great matches, but it just felt missing. Something felt missing from that. Like, and then they gave it 9 minutes for Cody and Juice Robinson for reasons I understood, but it doesn't help the U.S. title. But yeah, her. So yeah, Naito and Jericho, they're tearing the house down, pile drivers, and then we get Jericho landing a DDT on a table with Naito, and the commentators even brought up how Naito's head created a hole, and Naito's size head is like, I wish they kind of showed that hole, but they rather focus on the action instead of focusing on the details of the damage that was done, because I'd rather see the match. And yeah, so Naito's head, when it bounced, it like turned a little bit, and it was like, oh crap. And yet the crowd is cheering for Naito, and a lot of people, and the commentators even pointed out what the fans were thinking, like, last year Naito was heading into Wrestle Kingdom with all this momentum, and yet they didn't give him the title run that everyone thought he should have been given against Okada. But now, like, for some reason, they seem to treat the IC title like it's not that important to Naito. Like, it's just his revenge on Jericho. I could be wrong with this, but, like, for some reason, I just kept getting this vibe that Naito was kind of frustrated being the IC champion, that he wanted to be the world champion. I could be wrong. That's what it sounded like for the commentators. And Naito lands a code-breaker, Jericho lands a code-breaker. It's just so hilariously fun. It's just pure, absolute chaos. And Jericho's trying to paint himself as the biggest a-hole in wrestling, even though Tommaso Ciampa currently beats him at that level. But maybe not in Japan, but still. And then Naito hits the Destino. I pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, and the crowd thought that was it, but Naito then eyes the title, picks it up, and then smashes Jericho's head in, and then proceeds to just launch the title out of the ring, and I'm just like wondering, like, I get the feeling Naito doesn't really want to be IC champion. I could be wrong, but yeah, Naito ultimately defeats Jericho and regains the Intercontinental Championship. It was a hell of a match. Jericho's pissed off, obviously, like, and now after the show, he basically was claiming that he deserves to challenge the world champion, the new IWGP champion, Hiroshi Tanahashi. I'll get to that match tomorrow. But yeah, oh boy, that was like, it's gonna be interesting where they go with this. I don't know if Jericho's gonna keep being in New Japan Pro Wrestling, like, since he might be heading to All Elite Wrestling, since he's rumored to be one of the top guys there in terms of the backstage behind the scenes. Like, Chris Jericho's experience with the Elite's enthusiasm and the Khan family's money and wealth. Okay, that's gonna be a deadly combination, and then you got Jim Ross there as well. But yeah, like I said, this match was brutal. It was intense. Like, Naito was awesome. Jericho is just phenomenal. I just loved every moment of this match. And I do love that the IC title's kind of getting recognition more so, but it did come at the cost of the US title for a little bit. But yeah, Jericho and Naito, they tore the house down this match. I'm looking forward to what Naito's going to do with the IC title, if anything at all, because the commentators, from what I was watching, were hinting that he doesn't really like the IC title. I'm still wondering about that. Like, in my mind, and this is probably the WWE in me, I look at the IC title and it's the second most prestigious title in all of wrestling. Which I kept thinking, like, so shouldn't the IC title in Japan be the second most prestigious title? And it's not even that old. It's like, what, I'm trying to remember how old the IC title was founded. Let me double check. But, yeah, like, it has had a string of great matches, but I'm trying to remember when it was founded. Yeah, it was founded back in 2011. So the IC title has only been 8 years old, and yet it feels like it's not being treated as seriously like I would think it should be. And in fact, it's not even considered the new. It's not even. It's unofficially considered part of the New Japan Triple Crown title thing with the IWGP Heavyweight and Never Openweight Championships. Um, I do love its design though. I really do love it. But the idea of the IC title being not taken as seriously by some people in that company, I get the feeling that Naito doesn't like it. I could be incredibly wrong about all of this. I'm just going with the commentators. We're trying to sell the story of Naito doesn't want the IC title. He wants the IWGP title. And like, I can understand that. He's hungry. He wants to be the top guy. He wants to hold the big title, the head honcho title, the most prestigious title in IWGP wrestling. And, like, I can understand that. And, yeah, Jericho. And here's the thing. A lot of people were complaining about, oh, well, Jericho's never around to defend the IC title. What makes him so special? And I was like, okay, let's make the big difference between Jericho and Lesnar. One, Jericho has a band. He's writing books. He's preparing to form a promotion with the Elite and the Khan family. Two, let's see. Another reason is, well, Jericho has all these other commitments, and then there's all these WWE commitments he had at the time. And like I said, he operates a band. He writes books. He's doing all this huge investment he's putting himself in. And whereas Lesnar, what reason does he have? Like, Jericho could literally only come out twice a year, and that would be fine because he has at least a reason to not show up every single goddamn show. Whereas Brock Lesnar does nothing. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't do bands. He's not in a band. He doesn't have a legitimate excuse to say, I don't want to wrestle. And at least Jericho tries to, even at his age, try to put in a 5-star match and try to make instant classics with everybody. Whereas Lesnar, he doesn't care. Unless the money's right. And even then, he might not put the effort in unless it's someone he actually likes. Yeah. That kind of annoyed me how people were saying Jericho's just as bad as Lesnar. It's like, did you even look at Jericho's track record and look at his reasoning, whereas Lesnar doesn't have a reason and Lesnar's track record just downgrades? Yeah. But like I said, Jericho was freaking awesome in this match. Naito was awesome in this match. I don't know if this will be Jericho's last match in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He has hinted that he wants to go out to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And that could probably happen at G1 Supercard, which I'll be all for. But it's going to be kind of interesting where this goes. And I don't know, like, if Jericho does work with G1 Supercard, that would probably confirm that, yeah, they're going to have New Japan and AEW work together. But we'll see how that goes in the future. So those are my thoughts on Chris Jericho versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 13. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.